Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube how you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to Wise Guys Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. All right. I thought I was going to complete this in 3, but I think we're just going to have to assume that eventually it'll turn out okay. I appear to have run into a problem whereby there's too much moisture in here somehow. I used exactly 2 cans of evaporated milk. I used sugar instead of trying to use my sweetener packets. And I even gave the cooking time. You know what? All right. What I think I should have done is pop these in. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's a little more cooked, but still a touch on the mushy side. I don't know if you can tell. Do you see where I was cutting into it? And if you look closely, you might be able to see it, the pie itself shifting a little. I think what I should have done is, rather than pop it in at 350 for another 15 minutes, is pop it in for another 15, but at 425 degrees, because it seriously needs to burn off some of this water. And I think it's getting most of its liquid content, not so much from the pumpkin mash, but from the evaporated milk. And I think what the salt is doing is, well, it's absorbing some of the moisture, but salt should be absorbing the moisture. Where am I getting all the excess liquid from, though? I mean, it's firmer than before. But still kind of mushy consistency. And if I wait a little bit, I can actually see water building up. So this is more water than I'm used to ever seeing come out of pumpkin pie. I mean, you got the moisture from the 4 eggs. I did say 4 eggs, right? 4 whole eggs. Eggs are a binder. They get things to stick together. Yeah, 4 eggs slightly beaten. And I would say that I beat them slightly. I don't think it would be classified as overly beating them. So what I'll do is pop these in the oven at 425 for 20 minutes. Again, the extra 5 minutes is because the preheat time. So technically I'm doing like 15 minutes at 425. And we'll just assume that it's going to turn out perfect when it's done. Key point being that eventually it'll be cooked once enough water has evaporated from it. And I think the only way for me to get it to evaporate faster is by cooking it at a higher heat for a short period of time than a lower heat for a short period of time. Excuse me. I could be wrong, but I'm not used to having so much extra moisture by this time. Usually it would be done, but it's not like I added any excess liquid. Oh, hold on. If using two 12-ounce cans of evaporated milk, 12-ounce can, yeah, 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. Whew. All right, I was afraid that maybe I was using a 14-ounce can of evaporated milk, in which it would have led to 4 ounces of extra evaporated milk, which could explain added moisture, but I'm wondering if the salt I added also made more water sweat out of the ingredients or something. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss. I'm not sure why there's this excess water in the pies. But once I get more of that water evaporated, we should be good to go. And hey, oh dear, the pies are done. Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't consider them done because they still have a slightly mushy consistency. It should be firmer, but I'm not sure why there's this excess water. Maybe part of it is coming from the fact that I was using frozen pie crusts and they were kind of defrosting and coming to room temperature. But I don't think there's even enough moisture there to add so much water and prevent it from firming up. And again, I had the correct measurements of the wet ingredients, being the eggs and the evaporated milk in the can of, hold on, 29-ounce canned pumpkin. 29-ounce canned pumpkin, yeah. There's just something here. Ingredients, pumpkin, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. But by the time I'm done cooking, it should be cooked. At least I hope it is. And if anything, I might even just let it sit in the oven a little longer to take in residual heat from the oven after I turn off the heat. Is it evaporated or condensed? Evaporated has no added sugar. Condensed is almost like a milk sugar syrup. It is evaporated milk that I'm using. The recipe calls for either 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk, or if you use 2 cans of evaporated milk instead, then you have to add 1.5 cups of sugar, or 1 to 1.5 cups of sugar. And I added maybe 1.25 cups of sugar, granulated white sugar. So I was following the alternate directions. I was going to, instead of white granulated sugar, since it's supposed to be bad for you, I was going to use my stevia leaf and monk fruit packets, but I couldn't figure out the conversions from grams to ounces to cups. So I just went traditional and used the granulated sugar. But short of that, since I did just slightly over the minimum amount of sugar, I don't think that was the issue that resulted in there being so much moisture, so much water. But basically, when you cut into the pie and like remove small chunk of it, which is still kind of mushy instead of firm in texture, you wait several seconds and you start to see water pool up at the bottom of the pan. So we're getting some excess water from somewhere. And it's not like I added water to the recipe. I was closely following the instructions on the can of instructions, on the can of pumpkin. And usually it works without fail, but I don't know how it differed this time around, other than the fact usually I don't have the frozen pie crust sitting out coming to room temperature as long as I did this time around. Usually I pull them out closer to the last second, and then I fill the pies, and then I throw them in the oven. So that's the timer for the timer reminder for warm up on the oven. So that leaves 14 more minutes of cooking. So again, I'm going to assume that this is going to do the trick. And as I mentioned, I will probably even let it sit in the oven additionally to absorb what's left of the heat as the oven is cooling down with the oven being off. Maybe it needs to cool, firm up. Well, there's that too, but usually before you even before it even gets to that point, you can stick a knife in it and it pulls out clean. This was sort of doing it on one pie. It was doing a decent job of it, but it was still mushy inside. And then the other one did come out nice and clean, but it was still mushy inside. So mushier than normal. But yeah, letting them sit does get it to firm up some more. But I don't think it fully cooked. I mean, there really isn't much really to cook other than the eggs, because the pumpkin is already processed. All the other ingredients are just spices. I'm just getting sidetracked and I'm throwing away the aluminum foil that was on the baking sheet that had the pumpkin pies on it, where I spilled some of the filling, because I don't want to reuse it, knowing that once it's been cooking long enough in the oven, it'll get all hard and black and then start to smoke in the oven, and then consequently the fire smoke alarm will go off. All right, so in all the times of making pumpkin pies, I think this is only the second or third time this has ever happened. And in each case, I think all I've done is cooked it more until it's gotten firmer. So, got 10 minutes to go. I think I will end this stream so that you guys don't have to watch me twiddling my thumbs. I once made shortbread cookies with margarine instead of butter. Excuse me. The cookies liquefied into a sheet of shortbread. Really? Margarine instead of butter. Yeah, margarine is supposedly bad for you. It's, I forget what ingredient it contains, but I'm not sure if it's margarine or if it's seed oils that were originally invented to be lubricant for machinery. Maybe it's both. But anyway, butter is supposed to be the way to go. That's interesting, though. You'd think that margarine would have done the trick as well. That's curious. Let me see something here. Alright, so to celebrate making pumpkin pies, we're going to drink some apple juice. Concentrate from turkey. Fun fact, if you know a type 1 diabetic, make sure they've got apple juice on hand, because if they don't have like one of those emergency pins to spike up your blood sugar and they have an episode, apple juice is the next best thing because it skyrockets your blood sugar. Being a type 2 diabetic, apple juice is not the best for me because it's already too high. So I'm trying to drink it in moderation. What's left of this? I thought at first, as I switched to a healthier diet with more realistic portions, that I would risk my blood sugar tanking, but from what I'm hearing, that's near impossible. So I don't technically need to keep apple juice as a backup. Yo, shortbread requires butter to firm up. I don't eat margarine anymore. It's made from seed oils and is totally hydrogenated as well. Yeah, all that hydrogenated crap, that pisses me off. These manufacturers are doing everything they do to save pennies, and it's at the cost of the health of the people who consume it. It's like, have they no morals? Apparently not. Man, I want to finish this off, but what little I drink already shot my blood sugar up considerably. Don't mind my mess. I've become kind of a homebody since my injury, but I'm getting better. I'm healing, so I'm going to be taking these out to the trash in due time. Probably when the weather gets nicer. Right now we've got thunderstorms and severe tornado warnings. Well, you know what? We got 5 minutes more. Maybe we'll just kill some time. On the load up, picking up Nick. On the load up, picking up Nick. On look at no one, look at number one, Nickelodeon. After this, and after enjoying a slice of pie, I think what I may do is another gaming stream. I just don't know what game yet. It might be one of the ones I haven't played yet. Well, you know what? Maybe not. If I play one of the newest games that I haven't played before, I'm probably going to want to do 2 or 3 live streams in a row. Excuse me, because I usually really get into a game because I'm learning all about it. Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, so excuse me, learning all about it. And if the game's good enough, then I'll be interested in playing some more. I rarely drink anything other than water and black coffee. I love coffee. Oh my gosh. And tea. But I can take coffee black. I sometimes enjoy it with like a coffee creamer, but so many of the coffee creamers are bad for you too. I rarely drink other than water and black coffee. I do like Zevia sodas occasionally. They're sweetened with stevia. Yeah. I got this sweetener that I use occasionally. Whole earth sweetener, which is a 0-calorie sweetener with stevia and monk fruit. It's all right. I'm sure it's healthier than Equal and whatever that blue labeled packet was, and Sweet and Low, the pink one. But I recently heard that some stevia and some monk fruit might be bad for you now. I don't know. It's so hard to keep track of what's supposed to be good and what's supposed to be bad. A small pinch of salt makes black coffee way smoother. Takes out the bitterness. Really? Small pinch of salt. I'm often not a big fan of the bitterness in coffee sometimes, but I usually just go. I'm just like, I'll deal with it. I don't try and cut the bitterness at all. I just drink it as is and like, whatever. Maybe I should be more discerning with my coffee. Oops. I had to look up whipped cream recipes because I think you can literally just take chilled or cold heavy whipping cream and run it in a blender and turn it into Cool Whip, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free, anybody, to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's literally how you make it. And I'm also considering making my own mayonnaise. A lot of the popular mayonnaise on short shelves, for whatever reason, are using is that must be the final warning that it's done. Usually there's like a single beep if it's got 1 minute to go before the timer's over. I guess that usually only happens on the longer cooking times. So let's see if this helped at all. It may or may not have. Either way, if it still didn't help, I'm just going to pop it back in the oven and let the residual heat try and firm it up further. Tonight, it's time to say goodnight. Da 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 da. I'm a coming, dun 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 dun. I'm a coming, dun 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 dun. This is that cutscene where you start to see me gear up, put on my gloves in the superhero movies. Oh, heat wave. So this is, oh wow, I see water. No. All right, so I like the fact that you can now see that the crust is browning, which I forgot to observe. And you notice it's dark around where the pumpkin filling was spilling over onto the crust because I got distracted at the severe tornado warning on my phone. But yeah, this should be done. I'm gonna leave the other in the oven to sit. Wow. You can see water bubbling in the crack from the slice that I made. So there's water here. It looks better though. All right, so it's mushiest near the center, but if you see this area here, it's much firmer. I still see a bunch of moisture though. Well, sitting in the oven some more is probably going to be fine. I think next time I'm going to take the frozen pie crust out later. Wait till the last minute and then fill the pies and pop them in the oven. Instead of giving them time to defrost and come to room temperature. Especially since room temperature seems to be, let me look. Wow. Room temperature right now is 81 degrees. I'm not doing a very good job of naturally keeping the place cool. That's why it feels like a sauna. I have my thermostat set to 60, so, but now that we're in springtime, it's probably never going to drop down to 60 anymore. Even on a cold day. But, you know, in Ohio, there's always that chance. Oh. So, yeah, I've got to look up homemade whipped cream because, as I recall, it's real easy to make. And easier to make healthy. Oh, shoot. Okay. No guarantees, but there's a chance I'll eat a second slice tonight. Are you able to see this deep? All right. So that's close to the consistency I was looking for. Except I see traces of moisture throughout still. So something's going on where I just have more moisture than usual. I don't know. I do something, I guess. I wonder if it's like a sugar reaction. Yeah. The popping of the foil tray. So that's looking pretty decent. But overall, you know, the flavor's there. The flavor's there. I always wish that pumpkin pie crusts were firmer. And one of these times, I think what I'll do is I will pre-bake the pie crust to give it a firmer surface to rest on. Instead of the consistency being about the same as the filling. But yeah. Yeah, it's just 35% cream in a blender till firm with sugar or sweetener to taste. Looks good. Yeah, I dig it. Thanks so much. Let me take a screenshot of your whipped cream recipe. 35% cream. Done. All right. Thanks so much. 35% cream. Is that like 35% milk fat? Is that what you mean by 35%? Because I didn't see you mention any other ingredients, any other liquid ingredients, just the cream itself and optional sweetener or sugar. All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining me. This was kind of an adventure. I was not expecting the added moisture we encountered, but things happen. Yeah, it's usually sold as whipping cream. Yeah. I think there's like different grades of whipping cream. Like there's a light whipping cream, a heavy whipping cream, and maybe that's just that just determines whether you have a softer, fluffier Cool Whip versus a heavier, thicker Cool Whip. That's more sturdy. Not sturdy, stable, no. Rigid, no. Firmer. All right, yeah. So I gotta try that. I forget. You know what? I gotta add that to my shopping list. Whipping cream, because I would like to have some with my my pie. Thanks everyone for joining me. This concludes our pumpkin pie adventure. Be on the lookout for upcoming videos or live streams of cooking probably chocolate chip and walnut cookies. And if that reminds me, I got to put oatmeal back on the list. So maybe oatmeal cookies as well. Undecided if I'm going to do oatmeal raisin cookies. So yeah. Ooh, I should do oatmeal raisin cranberry cookies. Oh, or oatmeal craisin cookies. All right, anyway. I think it needs the fat to firm up. That makes sense. Less fat and it won't firm up the same. Yep. Makes sense. All right, well, thanks all again for joining me on the 3-parter of the pumpkin pies adventure. Bon appetit. See you on the next stream. Bye. Bye. I said.
Thundercats!